Do you have kids begging you to take them to the Great Wolf Lodge? Don't worry, it's actually not that bad.
Hanging with Stitcher, chocolate bar, Kev Cage needs a life. Buffy with burgers, squishy with bark, Kev Cage needs a life. Kev Cage needs a life, yeah.
What's up? It's Kev Cage, good seeing you, and today I'm gonna tell you all about the Great Wolf Lodge.
So what exactly is this place? You probably know that the Great Wolf Lodge is some sort of water park, but there's a ton more going on inside. In short, it's kind of like Vegas for kids. We'll get to all that in a bit, but first, let's talk about the overall experience. The first time I went, it was because my friend's dad won a suite there in a bowling tournament, and he told his son he had to take my family. Thanks, Mr. Warman. That location was in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, where a lodge with this decor makes perfect sense. The footage here is from their location in Anaheim, not exactly where you'd be expecting a woodland cabin right off of Harbor Boulevard, but once you're on the property, they do a pretty good job of selling the bit. And that's the first thing that surprised me about it. The place is pretty well detailed with great upkeep. You know how I love fake rock work. Yeah, look at that wolf. I've only been to 2 of these, but I'm assuming all of the locations across the country are pretty much the same idea with slightly different layouts. The theming here is really well done. The lobby is warm and welcoming and incredibly clean, with nice little touches like artwork and paw prints on the table. They've even got their own animatronics show. It feels cozy, and while it's not quite the lobby of the Grand Californian, it's nice enough. Everyone gets a wristband for water park access that can also function as a room key. If you just get it. Yeah, it works. You can also tap it for charges to the room. They call all of their rooms suites because they have a little couch and table area. I didn't take a lot of video of our room because I forgot to do it right away, and I didn't want you to see all of our gross stuff flying around everywhere. But we stayed in a Wolf Den suite, which has bunk beds for the kids in this little separately themed area. And it has a moon in the light. But enough about that. The main reason why you come to one of these places is the water park, and they certainly have one. I took all of this footage after it was closed for the night because, don't want to look like a creep, but allow me to recreate the experience of it being open by regaling you with a campfire tale of what it's like to be in a raft. I'm noticing now there's a lot of bear presence for a place named the Great Wolf Lodge, but I digress. The store before you walk in has everything you could need or more likely forgot in the rush to get there. It's got swimsuits, shoes, water diapers. Fun fact, my wife saw Tim Heidecker in here last year getting goggles for his kid. Celebrities. They're just like us! Okay, so that structure that you're looking at straight ahead is, I think it's called Fort McKenzie. And that's like this big kids play area. So if you want to keep them in one specific spot and not worry about them running around, there's plenty to do there. There's little water that shoots out of the ground, they got the big bucket that dumps over everybody, and there's 2 pretty good slides that you can ride down from the top. Past that kids' play area, you have a bunch of other slides back in the corner. You have to climb up the stairs, that sort of thing. Some of them you need to bring rafts with you, some of them they give you a raft at the top. That blue and orange thing all the way in the corner is a big funnel that last year my kid fell out of the raft while we were going down it. Good times. Then as we travel along to the right, in the back right corner over there, they got some surfboarding thing that you could do that costs extra, so obviously didn't do it. That body of water there is a wave pool. Just imagine all the waves. Wow, it's so fun. The waves are so good. You have to wear a life vest in there if you're under a certain height, which I think is a great idea. And then this structure down there to the bottom right is the indoor snack shack, which is great in a pinch if you don't feel like leaving. It's got all the standards. This thing over here is a kiddie splash area. You can see they got some little slides. There's some cabanas, which I wouldn't recommend. They're very expensive, and most of the time, if you have little kids, you got to be with them anyway, so you can't really chill. There's also a lazy river that you can kind of see center frame there curling around. That's fun. And then up in that structure, all the way in the top, they have rides that you can go down or slides that you can go down on your stomach and race people with a little mat. And that thing where the floor drops out from underneath you that my wife actually got kind of hurt on pretty bad. She scraped her back. Neither me nor my son did, but I don't know. So I guess ride at your own risk. But wait, there's more. So, like I alluded to in the beginning, there's tons to do beyond pools and slides. And that's kind of what makes this thing like Little Kid Vegas. Inside this building is anything you could ever want to do. It is meticulously designed to prevent you from leaving. Well, I guess not prevent you from leaving, but not really give you a good reason to leave. Look at this list of activities that they have. This is just stuff that they do in the lobby. They have yoga, they have adventure training, whatever that is. The Magi thing, which I'll tell you about later. They got arts and crafts, story time. They have that weird animatronic show, which I showed you before. And of course they have shopping. So let's start there. This is your main gift shop, the Buckhorn Exchange. There's a little deer. Cool. This is pretty standard gift shop fare. They got candy, that's nice, plushies. The one thing that's a little annoying is a few years ago they redid their Great Wolf Lodge logo. They don't have merch with the new logo on it, or they have very limited merch with the new logo on it. So get on that, Great Wolf Lodge. Aside from that, you've got 10 Paw Alley, which is that bowlingo, I guess they call it. It's like not real bowling, it's a little ball. It's kind of like a shot put, and the pins are attached to strings. There's also Howl at the Moon Mini Golf, which is a, I think, 9-hole course that's blacklight responsive and in some degree of disrepair. So if you really like mini golf, that's fun, but otherwise you could probably skip it. Both of those things are additional fees, as I should mention. And of course, what Kid Wonderland would be complete without an arcade? This arcade is actually pretty good, though it is incredibly expensive. Instead of using tokens, they use paws, and each game requires 12 paws. It's about a paw a quarter, so I shouldn't say each, but for most of these games, you're looking at $3 a pop, which is absolute insanity. They do have a decent selection of games, though, and claw machines, because of course, everybody loves a claw machine. They even have a bootleg Lightning McQueen. Look at that guy. Here's your prize counter. They got some good stuff, good plush, but again, if you're thinking about anything top shelf, you're going to be in this for quite a bit of money. Gone are the days where you can give a kid a $10 roll of quarters and hope for the best. If your kids haven't completely bled you dry in the arcade, don't worry, there's even more stuff to buy. Like here, a Build-A-Bear at the Build-A-Bear Workshop. Yes, back in the corner over there, you can see Great Wolf Lodge character-specific Build-A-Bears for the kid who really can't get enough of Wily Fox. I'm sure they're out there. Excuse me, Wily Wolf. That makes more sense. Is a wolf the same thing as a fox? They also have these Squishmallow knockoff things of the characters, which are kind of soft and kind of cute. That brings us to Magi Quest, which for years I was incorrectly pronouncing as Magic Quest, because doesn't that make more sense? Like magic? Anyway. Magi Quest is a game that you can play all around the hotel with an interactive wand. It's kind of like a scavenger hunt meets the Harry Potter stuff that you would do at the Wizarding World at Universal Studios. It's a great activity to do to get some time outside of the water park, and once you've spent your money, you can't really spend more on the game, so it's a good way to slow your roll on spending too. I think it's $16.99, gives you 4 days of access, which more than likely is way more than you'd actually be staying at the place, but it is kind of fun. Some of it is just finding objects that are scattered around different floors of the hotel, and some of it is actually doing like battles. And the battles are way harder than they have any right to be, because if you don't trigger the wand with the sensor quick enough, it makes you start all over again. It's incredibly frustrating, but this whole thing can actually take a couple of hours, like to the tune of 12 to 15 if you're not really sure what you're doing. That dragon battle, when I finally beat that with my kid, it's probably the most satisfied I'd felt in any sort of gaming experience in quite a long time. And of course, in the Magi Quest store, they have all sorts of add-ons and things that you can purchase, none of which you actually need. None of them really do anything or greatly affect the game in a way that you couldn't just do on your own. Should you beat the entire Magi Quest, you get to be part of this probably too long ceremony where you graduate to a Master Magi. It did feel like a rite of passage because we put so much time and effort into doing the stupid thing that I kind of forced my kid to go to the ceremony. You earned that. Get that certificate. Alright, we've been farting around here for almost 10 minutes. Let's get to the important stuff. If you're like us, when you're setting cash ablaze at a place like this and dealing with the crowds, sometimes you need a drink to get you through. The Great Wolf Lodge allows you to do it responsibly when you're staying the night because it takes driving out of the equation. But when it comes to a water park, or really any theme park, don't be a bozo. Know yourself and your limits. Cool? Cool. The Great Wolf Lodge used to have a really unreasonably good beer selection for some reason, but that's all gone now. I was bummed out. Mostly generic stuff in cans and almost nothing on tap. I did notice, however, that they had their own custom margarita on tap. A Great Wolf-A-Rita? With the lack of beer options and my penchant for a themed beverage, I had to have it. At first I thought maybe they scaled back the beer because the ABVs were too high and they replaced them with sugary cocktails, but not so.
You can taste some booze, which is more than I was expecting.
After a nice fried lunch, I decided to try the bar outside to see if I'd have better beer luck out there, but no dice. So I opted for the jalapeno marg and a mojito for my wife. She enjoyed hers, and mine had that nice heat. Always beats a pre-made cocktail. At dinner, I realized the Great Wolf Lodge had another custom cocktail, the Long Island iced tea. So, had to see what that was all about. I'd make a joke about getting Great Wolf lit here, but that kind of goes against what I was just saying about being responsible. It looked exactly like the margarita. I don't know if they were supposed to put a splash of Coke in it or what, but super weird.
See what this is all about. Quite tart. Glad I took my heartburn medicine.
That triple sec gets me every time. But speaking of dinner, what's going on with the food here? The Great Wolf Lodge has a bunch of food options, and they're all decent enough. It's pricier than if you left and grabbed something, obviously, but you're paying for the convenience. They have a grab-and-go Dunkin' inside the convenience shop, and a regular Dunkin' location inside, but that closes in the afternoon. Pro tip, you can order at all of these places on the app, which is easier, but even the kiosks will take payment from your wristband. In addition to the snack stand in the water park, you got this pizza place too. It's fine. They have salad and wings and, standard fare. Plus you get to sing, "Hungry as a Wolf." They've also got a sit-down restaurant, which we did not go to this time. We went last year and I can't remember a thing about it, so I guess it was just okay. And then to really make sure they've covered every base, they also have a breakfast and dinner buffet. We went for breakfast and it was reasonably priced and had a pretty good selection. And oh yeah, there's ice cream and baked goods at this place. Great nightcap. I definitely recommend the Great Wolf Lodge for a family looking for a quick getaway. Your kids will love it. But a few parting words. It's really expensive. Standard rooms can go for over $450 a night. It includes the water park, so I guess that's how they rationalize it, but still, it ain't cheap. That said, two things. One, they almost always have some kind of deal going for up to 30% off, so if you don't see a deal, check back in a week or two. You can also, at least at the location in Anaheim, get a day pass to just use the water park. But if you can swing it, I'd recommend staying to get the full experience. On that note, check-in is at 4 p.m., and they are pretty militant about not letting you in early unless it's totally dead there. You can use the water park the day of check-in, but that isn't always convenient. Honestly, in my opinion, it's kind of worth it to stay 2 nights, so you get one morning where you can wake up and get right to doing whatever, but also have the comfort of taking your time and being able to use the room. Especially with kids like 5 and under, that's huge. One other thing, they have a rewards program called the Voyagers Club. If you book a room, make sure you sign up for that. It's free, and you can earn points that give you a discount if you book again. I think we saved $100 on this trip with that, no joke. Have you been to the Great Wolf Lodge in your area? Did you love it? What's their beer sitch like? Let me know down below in the comments. If you found this video informative or helpful, consider subscribing to the channel, but lower your expectations for future helpful content because most of the time, I don't know what I'm talking about. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, if you're lucky enough to go to the Great Wolf Lodge, you're lucky enough. See you next time.